Peace. What's up, everybody? And welcome to another live edition of Ron's Library and Ideas. And while we wait, let's get a little bit of music. Peace. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like button on your way in. What's going on, Jalen? I'm doing good, bro. How are you? Thanks for tuning in. Do me a favor and hit that like button for me as you're watching this, helps to push this out to more people. Play some more of that a little bit later. Hello. Thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate it. So that's just some music that I made in GarageBand. We'll be just fine. I'll play some more of that a little bit later. Have y'all been seeing what's been going on in California? All these wildfires and stuff kicking off. Looks like a scene out of Armageddon. It's pretty crazy. You know what's crazy? Looking online on Twitter or X, however you want to call it, you have residents in those neighborhoods that are burning down saying that they canceled their fire insurance like a few months before all of this happened. That's interesting. It's almost like they were setting them up. We're going to cancel your fire insurance, and then we're going to get this big fire that breaks out in Malibu or wherever it is, the Palisades. But anyway, that's just crazy. I've been to LA twice in my life. The first time I was there, my family was leaving Hawaii. We used to live over there for like 3 years. We shipped our car to LA, and then we drove from LA across the country to Savannah, Georgia. And we were going to stop and see all these different sites and stuff. But after we were in the car for a while, it was like, man, F it, we just ready to get there. So I remember that. Second time I went to LA, I was an adult. This was like a few years ago. Me and some of my KK side line brothers decided to meet up on a line trip. And this was back in my heavy weed smoking days, right? So I remember getting off the plane, and the first thing I wanted to do was, it's time to find a dispensary and try some of this California weed. But it was only like one other bro on the trip who really smoked like that. Everybody else was just trying to get to the hotel. But anyway, I'm in my phone, I'm looking, and I found this spot that will deliver the tree to you. I said, "Oh, this is like the greatest thing ever." So I got some gummies, and I think I got like a 3-5, right? So the guy pulled up on us like, the pizza man. I had to give him my ID and the app and all that for them to deliver it to you. But he pulled up, got some gummies. I don't know how strong the dosage was for the gummies, but I ate like two of them. My line brother ate two. A dude was like, "Well, let's go downstairs and I rolled one. Let's go downstairs and smoke." So we ate the two gummies, went downstairs, rolled up, and smoked outside in the parking lot. Right. By the time we get back on the elevator and made our way up, we realized we made a mistake. Like, there's few instances in my life where I was entirely too high, and that was one of those times. Like, just out of this, like, okay, this is bad. Like, we went out that night to a couple of different bars. One of my line brothers knew somebody who was out there, so he was taking us around to different places, and he kept looking back at me and the other guy was like, "Yo, are they all right?" Because I guess we were looking like some zombies, like standing up, kind of sleep. Um, but yeah, regardless, it was a good time in Texas, man. Texas. It was a good time in LA. Although I would not live out there right now. There's entirely too much going on. Too much weird stuff that goes on. In that book, Chaos. Uh, It's about the Manson murders, right? It's called Chaos, Charles Manson, the CIA, and the Secret History of the 60s. It's definitely worth a read, and it talks a lot about things that were going on in LA in the 60s. The CIA's involvement in it, just how crooked the LAPD was. Long story short, Charles Manson didn't just go and kill those people on his own. He didn't just send his followers. Just like the mind control that went on, that he was able to do to brainwash his people to actually go down there and commit those murders. It was just too many weird things. And as much as that book revealed, you would have thought that this would have been big news. You would have thought that this would have been spread all over the place, but it's been relatively quiet. Like, I know he's been the author. Tom O'Neill has been on the Joe Rogan podcast and some other places, but for the most part, it's been kind of quiet. And that brings me to the subject of tonight's live. And I'm trying to get this done quickly because it's late and I got to get up in the morning. But entertainment, it can be used as a weapon of mass distraction. And it's amazing that we are like one of the most well entertained generations or people out there, but we're also like the most distracted. This phone that we have in our hands, it can be used as a tool to help educate yourself, get some money in your pocket, you know, connect to different people. But I think for the majority of people, it's just used as entertainment. And entertainment is okay. We all need some type of escape. We need to find some enjoyment in life. But when it's like the main thing that you're seeking after, okay, that means something's wrong. You're not going to get very much out of life, except like mediocrity. And what's is interesting because that's something I have to get myself out of as well. I went on a break from Instagram for like a month and a half. Was it a month and a half? It was a little over a month. But since then, Instagram hasn't had that same pull on me how it used to. It's just not as interesting. I can find better things to do with my time. But I definitely know that entertainment is being used as a weapon against the people. There's always something new coming out, especially with the advent of social media. You keep pulling that screen down, refreshing, looking for that new dopamine hit. Because they also know that, these scrolling, seeing new things, it releases some type of dopamine. It makes you happy. you start to get addicted to it. Entertainment and the images that we see are so powerful, in fact, that they're very careful. When I say they, the people who decide what movies get made, they're very careful and selective about what movies they're actually going to put out there. For example, if you ever seen Eddie Murphy's Boomerang, listening to interviews with Eddie Murphy talking about that movie, he actually got a lot of pushback from Hollywood executives about that movie because they kept telling him, "Well, nah, this is unrealistic. This is it's not going to make money in the box office." And the thing about it was, well, this is a movie about a bunch of black, white collar workers, professionals running the big company and being successful doing it. And it was funny. You had a beautiful woman in it. It was a good story. One of those love stories where, you didn't have a black man coming to rescue a woman out of the hood. Halle Berry's character and I think Robin Givens' character, they were doing well in life. And I guess Hollywood executives were like, well, no, we don't need them to see this. We don't need them to see black people being successful and in this kind of light. But it's a great movie. It's a love story, teaches some good lessons, but you also have to realize it was pushed back because of that. And I find that fascinating. Same thing happened with Eddie Murphy's movies Harlem Nights. If you just now tuning in, thank you. We're talking about entertainment being used as a weapon. Now, Harlem Nights with Eddie Murphy, you had Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor was in it, Red Fox, just a lot of big name characters. Arsenio Hall was in it. But the thing that pissed the powers that be off the most about that movie is because it again showed black people in a light that we're not used to seeing ourselves. You had Sugar Ray, who had his own nightclub during Prohibition in New York City, and he was successful at it. So successful, in fact, that there was a mob boss that decided, well, they don't need to be doing this anymore. It must have been like an Italian mob boss. He said, well, now we want to come down here and we want to take Sugar Ray's place from him. We want to take what he built because he's too successful. Now, Eddie Murphy's character in the movie wanted to fight them. That's because he was young, he was brash, kind of a hothead, and that's what young men do. Somebody comes and tries to take what we have, we want to fight for it. But Richard Pryor's character was the wise one in that movie. And Richard Pryor said, look, man, we're businessmen. These guys are gangsters. We don't have the muscle to go up against them. So they came up with a plan to get away with a whole lot of money and take that mob down at the same time. Now, you always see movies with black people being like the comedic relief, the sidekicks, but we don't ever really get movies where it's just we're all the main characters and we're outsmarting some white mob bosses just using our minds. And that's exactly what happened. In Harlem Nights, the white mob, got outsmarted by Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor. And again, that does too much to the image. That's too positive of an image for us to see ourselves in that way. I think about the fact that in Black Panther, the first one, we were very happy when we got that movie. So happy, in fact, that we were walking around saying Wakanda forever. It was like a family reunion going to the premiere of Black Panther. And it did so much for our pride and our self-image that in the next movie, well, they had to destroy that image. Entertainment, but it's also entertainment. We were getting beat up the whole movie for the most part. T'Challa was dead, or Chadwick Boseman had passed, and they refused to cast somebody else in that role. Which is crazy. I've said it before. We've had a whole bunch of different people play Superman and Batman, but we've only had one person play Black Panther. And when he passes, they say, well, no, we can't have anybody else play that role. And that's because it's too positive of an image for us to see, for the world to see. They don't need to see black people being portrayed in that light. So they'll push a comedian in front of you, but they'll push a comedian that's going to do a lot of, what I call buffoonery. It's funny, but does it really make you think? Is it really shining a light on something that a light needs to be put on? Sound like some gunshots in the background. Because Richard Pryor had a way of getting up on stage and saying something that it was funny, but afterwards it'll make you think. It's like, that's kind of true. It's like social commentary. That's why you have to be careful about comedians. They only need certain comedians making it to that big stage. Kevin Hart is funny, but Kevin Hart has never been the type of comedian to me to where he's really going to give you like some social commentary that's going to make you think about something. Think about something deeply. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like button to push this out. We really got to be careful about our entertainment and the things, the images that we see. I live in Jacksonville, Florida right now. And one of the things that's really sticking out to me is the fact that just with the images that we were shown, we don't really get to see black men in leadership positions. And I think that has a trickle down effect to where we don't really see ourselves as leaders unless it's on like the football field, unless it's on the basketball team or anything like that. We're comfortable being leaders in those regards, but seeing yourself as a leader of a Fortune 500 company, seeing yourself as a leader running your own business, these aren't really the type of images that get pushed out to us in our entertainment. I went to a Jacksonville Urban League meeting. My fiance and I, we went to that the other night. And, what stuck out to me the most is that there were 13 women in there and only 3 men. And I don't know, that's just odd that there's not more men stepping up. Maybe it's just a bad time. Maybe it's different. That was my first meeting going. But it was something to see 13 women in this spot in the Jacksonville Urban League and only 3 men, myself included. And I really think that has something to do with the fact that we don't really get to see ourselves in leadership positions. There was a time when my grandfather was an educator. Grandfather and grandmother. Grandfather eventually became a principal and then an area superintendent. And it's interesting that there's, they don't pay teachers enough. So off top, that's not going to attract a lot of men to that profession because, we have to make money to take care of a family. And it's kind of hard to take care of a family on the teacher's salary. And if they do become a teacher, they know I have to get more degrees in order to get paid more money. And so that I get more degrees, then it's like, I need even more money than this. So now I have to move into educational leadership. So that takes me out of the classroom and puts me into a position like assistant principal or assistant superintendent, things like that. And it's just, few and far between. I saw a post one time where they were asking students, how many black male teachers have you had in your lifetime? And people were talking about like I had 1 or 2, maybe 3 at the most. For the most part, there weren't a lot of black men in the teaching profession. And again, teachers don't get paid enough. It's not in one of those highly sought after fields, so people shy away from it. But anyway, what kind of things do you guys like to do for entertainment? Like, what are you watching? That's something for you to think about. Like, is this entertainment distracting me? Is it giving me like some type of escape from what I have going on in my life? Or is it educating me in some type of way? Even when it comes to like, what I put on my YouTube channel, I'm having to find new ways to present my information and to make it interesting, make it entertaining in a sense, so I can spread that message out, get more views on it, get it pushed out to a wider audience. You know, some of my favorite teachers on here are like Brother Panic, Bobby Hemmett, Phil Valentine, and while they are entertaining, that wasn't their main goal. They were out here, teaching the lessons that they wanted to teach, and it was some entertaining parts that went along with it. They just happened to be funny. And I know the more that I do this, the better I'll get at it. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Y'all getting in on the ground floor of something grand. The channel is steadily growing. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. With this being Ron's Library and Ideas, I'd like to talk to y'all about different books. And it's I got a wide variety of things I can show y'all. Oh, also, when I was in LA, that last time I was there, the day I was flying back, me and my line brothers, we all left LA at different times. I had some time to kill, so I went and found a used bookstore in downtown LA. It's called The Last Bookstore. I just looked at their website. It's like 22,000 square feet, so it's a pretty big building. A lot of different things are there. You can find records and whatnot, books, CDs. But while I was there, I remember this is one of the books that I got at the Last Bookstore in LA, and it's called The Body and Its Symbolism. Check this out. The body and its symbolism is an intricate and profound expression of the Kabbalistic symbolism applied to the human body. It represents the life work of nurse anesthetist and psychotherapist Annick de Susanel, whose tremendous understanding has been partially inspired by the depth psychology of Carl Jung. Based on her deep knowledge of biblical Hebrew, her readings of the Bible shed new light on the creation story, the nature of the feminine, and the ultimate vocation of every human being. Bestseller in France, whatever. Anyway, you never know what you can find in the used bookstore. And I know we got to the point as a people to where reading became entertainment for us. Well, that's dangerous because it puts us in a position, to see beyond the lies that are told to us. Let's see. See if there's anything in here worth reading. Okay. Myths are also agents of renewed creation that, when activated, allow the entire power of primeval forms to well up within us with the energy they had from the beginning. Myths translate a higher reality that is not readily transmissible to our everyday mental plane without the aid of subterfuge. What's interesting is that when we think about myths, for the most part, just how I came up, we think of myths as being something that isn't true, just stories that people told themselves in the past to make them feel good about their circumstances now. It's their way of trying to make sense of the world. But what's fascinating is that if you study enough mythology, you'll see that a lot of these myths are all telling the same story, just in different ways. Let's see. It's downstairs, but I have a book by Joseph Campbell called The Hero with a Thousand Faces. And he really went through and studied all the different mythologies of the world and found out the story of the hero's journey. That's what that book is about. And you're on your very own hero's journey right now. And what's fascinating is that Norse mythology is very similar to Egyptian mythology, which is similar to Greek mythology, which is similar to Roman mythology. It's like they all had access to the same information, but they were just telling it in different ways. Now, the first civilization, or the oldest civilization we have record of, are the Egyptians. And it's just interesting how Egyptian mythology, if you look at the mythologies that came afterwards, like the Greeks and the Romans, is very similar. They're telling the same story just with different characters. Another book that I believe is worth getting is by that same author I told you about earlier, Joseph Campbell, and it's called Myths to Live By. And it says, and again, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the like button as well. On the back of it, it says, what is a properly functioning mythology and what are its functions? Can we use myths to help relieve our modern anxiety, or do they foster it? In Myths to Live By, Joseph Campbell explores the enduring power of the universal myths that influence our lives daily and examines the myth-making process from the primitive past to the immediate present, returning always to the source from which all mythology springs, the creative imagination. Campbell stresses that the borders dividing the earth have been shattered, that myths and religions have always followed the certain basic archetypes and are no longer exclusive to a single people, region, or religion. He shows how we must recognize their common denominators and allow this knowledge to be of use in fulfilling human potential everywhere. It's been a while since I've read this. Let's see. In the Orient, the ultimate divine mystery is sought beyond all human categories. What's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Let's see. In the Orient, the ultimate divine mystery is sought beyond all human categories of thought and feeling, beyond names and forms, and absolutely beyond any such concept as of a merciful or wrathful personality, chooser of one people over another, comforter of folk who pray and destroyer of those who do not. Such anthropomorphic attributes of human sentiments and thoughts to a mystery beyond thought is, from the point of view of Indian thought, a style of religion for children. So again, dang, I read this so much, I got pages falling out of it. Let's see where this is supposed to go. Okay, this is right at the beginning. Let's see, somebody say, yo, what's up, cuz? Let me see if I recognize this name. Overstanding since 76. This must be my big cuz. What's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. Man, I messed up the book. Anyway, we're talking about entertainment and how our entertainment has been used to keep us in a box, keep us distracted. Yeah, that's what I thought. What's up, Tony? Thanks for tuning in, man. Tony, we talking about Well, I'm talking about this how entertainment is really entertainment, right? They use the images that we see daily to really program our minds in such a way. And I don't know, I just think it's interesting that more of us don't see it. You know, there's so much buffoonery out here in a sense. And I guess that hurts people's feelings when you say buffoonery. Like they get upset because they like it. They think it's something good to look at, so they want to pay attention to it. Um, and it is. It's propaganda in all of it. They definitely have an idea that they want to push across, and they do it through entertainment. Because when you're watching like a movie or reading a comic book or something like that, your defenses are down. You're just coming in to be entertained, be distracted for a while. Even when you think about the music that's pushed across to us. Umar Johnson was talking about how bad hip hop has been, and I saw some rappers trying to defend it. But if we really want to take an honest view of it, we have to look at what hip hop has done, good and bad. It has influenced us to do some crazy stuff. I can't even say I'm immune to it. I saw while I listened to Wiz Khalifa's Cushion OJ, and that was right around the time when I decided, well, hell, I'm about to start smoking. I just wanted to see what it was like. How many other people have that happened to, or has that happened to? Like they really was out here wearing skinny jeans, living that black rock star lifestyle when that music was out, taking like Molly, perks, lean, all that because they saw their favorite rapper doing it. It's pretty fascinating. Now, what is interesting is just how much I can't see these comments when I don't have my glasses on. Yeah, it is bad now. But hey, check this out, Tony. This is at the beginning of this, I'll play music that I've been working on GarageBand, and I've been finding old stuff on there. So this live serves as two purposes. I get to speak to the people and share some of my music at the same time. Now we're coming up to the end of it now. Somebody asked me if I know how to rap. I said not well. See if it starts over. Nope. Well, I'll send it back myself. It's amazing what you can do with GarageBand. Damn, it's already 11:21. So I'm gonna play this out, and I'm gonna call it a night, man. I appreciate you tuning in, Tony. Everybody that tuned in, I appreciate it. Next thing is to get some legit speakers in here. Yeah, it's a dope program. want to, if you just now tuned in, you can go back to the beginning and catch the replay of this. Check out the other videos on my channel as well. See if you find anything interesting. Leave some comments. Critiques, good, bad, whatever. I appreciate all of it. Anyway, y'all have a good night.